thank you all for making it here today. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to the Desh Legends of Cricket Series event with Rohit Sharma. As you all know that Rohit has been touring here in the Bay Area for the last 2 days. We've had quite a few exciting events, and this is kind of culmination of his Bay Area leg. So the structure of the event is going to be, we're going to do a fireside chat with Rohit, more of a moderated session with an interactive Q&A. When it comes to the interactive Q&A, of course, I encourage everyone to kind of feel free to open up with your questions. And then we'll have kind of an open time meet and greet with Rohit. So without much ado, we'll get started first. We'll bring in Ritika, and then we'll do a brief intro, after which we'll bring in Rohit. So just give us a minute. I'll get Ritika, and then we'll get started. We'll actually bring Rohit in just a minute, and just get ready to put your hands together for a big round for Rohit.
About what we need to do as a group, as individuals. No pressure. Obviously, when we go out there and enjoy our cricket, that is when the best cricket comes out. This is how Mumbai Indians play. Rohit.
Thank you.
Welcome, Rohit. We're really excited to have you here, and there are a few familiar faces that you would have seen from this morning. Would you like to open up by saying a few words to the audience?
Thank you for such a warm welcome. Feels nice to be in this part of the town. America has always been one of my favorite places to visit, and I'm glad that got some time off to come here and visit such a beautiful country. And while I'm here, I'm looking forward to doing many more things, which probably started off going and seeing some of the kids in California Cricket Academy, which was a great experience for me. And yes, quite looking forward to going to Seattle as well tomorrow. The Mariners' first pitch. It will be a great experience, so I'm quite looking forward to that.
Absolutely, and I'm sure the baseball fans are looking forward to it too. And I don't know if you've been following some of the press in India. It's already one of the fastest trending topics in India, that Rohit is going to be throwing the ceremonial first pitch at the Mariners game. So this is truly a seminal moment. All right, so we'll get started with kind of a brief chat, and we want to kind of trace from your beginnings as a cricketer, kind of as you traverse through your career. We'll talk through some of the experiences and kind of get your insights as you've gone through your journey. So starting with talking about your beginning as a cricketer. How did you get into cricket? What was it to, as a kid, to start playing cricket in the 80s and early 90s? Probably the early 90s for you, right?
Yeah, late 80s actually. Um, you know, every household in India, you know, they watch cricket and they worship cricket. And my family, my household was no different. And, you know, that's all it started from. Everybody in my family, they loved cricket. And, you know, they played cricket as well. But not at the highest level, but just in the colleges, in their schools. So cricket was always part of our life when I was growing up. And like any other kid playing cricket in his backyard, playing with his school friends, that's how I started. And then a lot of my close friends, they felt that I had something different in me and I should try at the highest level, or maybe try and go to some academy. But my financial background didn't allow me to go and get an admission into an academy. But we managed it somehow, got admission in the academy. Went into the academy as an off-spin bowler, not as a batsman, which was slightly different. But then there's also a story behind it, why I was a off-spin bowler and not a batsman.
Which we'd love to hear.
Yeah, it's basically like in any other academy, if you see, there are big queues for the selection for batting and bowling. And everybody loves to bat. Nobody likes to bowl in India as they grow up. So there was a big queue for batsmen and you know, a very small few kids for the bowling selection. And they were shutting down the selection in the next half an hour, and I had to make my way into it in those half an hour that was available for me. So I thought if I go into the batsman's queue, I wouldn't make it. And I had to then, you know, I won't be available for selection, which means the academy, I have to wait for another year to go into that academy. So I went into the bowler's queue and I got selected. And I started, actually my cricket career started as an off-spin bowler, not as a batsman. And eventually I ended up being the best bowler of the tournament in the tournament that we played. So that's a kind of start that I had. And then when I played for my school, my coach, Mr. Dinesh Lad, saw the batting spark in my ability, and he told me, why don't you open the innings for our school? And I took that challenge, opened the innings, got 70, 80 runs, and from there on, you know, the batsman, Rohit as a batsman started. I think it was from the school onwards till now, bowling has disappeared. Batting is my forefront now, not the bowling, because of few injuries that I've had in my fingers. So yeah, that's how it all started.
And at what point did you really start to believe that you could be a serious cricketer? What was that turning point?
I think there were few turning points. There was one tournament I played for National Cricket Academy in Bangalore, and we were playing against Air India, corporate team. In those days, corporate games were held very valuable. I don't know about now because I haven't played now of late. But those days, all the national selectors used to come and watch those corporate games. And Mr. Dilip Vengsarkar was the chairman of selector for the national team, and he happened to be in Bangalore, and he came and watched that game. And I was very lucky. I got 100 in that game. And it was very competitive. That game was very competitive because they had some challenging bowlers. So Mr. Vengsarkar was quite happy the way I got my 100, you know, with the challenging bowling lineup and things like that. So he always thought that I could play at the highest level. I had the game in me, and I could always play for the next level. And the next level was Ranji Trophy. And he straight away put me into Ranji Trophy probables, and I was only 16 at that point. to be part of that Ranji probables was in itself a huge honor, because Mumbai Ranji Trophy team was is still regarded as one of the best in the country, because of the legacy that Mumbai cricket has had in so many years. So I think that was one game which actually got me into the limelight of national selection. And then was the Under-19 World Cup, which we played in Sri Lanka. Although we lost the finals against Pakistan, but I think the semi-finals, quarter-finals were telecasted and it was coming live on television. Most of the selection committee, national selection committee, they watched the game on television and they rated, they thought of me very highly, and they spoke to me after that tournament. They said, you have all in you to be playing at the highest level. And they straight away drafted me into India A team, which is just one level below the national team.
What's the pressure like to be a 16-year-old and get into the Ranji Trophy and then get to the next level so quickly? What prepares you for that? Did you have any mentors who kind of guided you along?
Yeah, I've always had coaches around me at that point. At that stage, obviously, you need more and more guidance as to how you want to approach your cricket. Besides cricket, there are many other things which you need to be careful of. Discipline, your fitness routine. So those kind of things, as a kid, you are not aware of. So you need right people to advise you. And luckily for me, I had those people around me. And they were always watching my back, whether I was playing in Mumbai or outside Mumbai. They were always one call away, and they were making sure that wherever I was, they would, get a report of what I was doing. So, which was always good, and I always used to consult with my coaches after the game, after the tournament, as to this is what has happened and how we can improve and go forward. That's always has to be, one of the reason as a cricketer that you can go higher, because you always, every day you need to learn, and every day you get an opportunity to learn something. So that was the mindset, and my coaches gave me that advice as to nobody is bigger than the game, and you cannot expert the game in 1 or 2 days. You need to continue to grow, and you will continue to learn more and more as you move along.
Do you feel that the coach-athlete relationship has changed a bit today, or is it pretty much the same or better than what it was back then?
I think to some extent, after you have established yourself, the coach and the athlete relationship, I wouldn't say fades away, but it obviously comes down a little bit, because you're aware of your game, what is happening, and of course coaches are there to help you, but for me, in my case, it has never happened so far. The coaches are always with me, and I always consult with them, because they are the ones who have been watching you since you were a child. You started playing cricket, and they exactly know your strengths and weaknesses. So for me, it has never changed. I don't know about the others, but it is the most important thing, because they are the ones who built you in one way or another, and knowing your strength and weaknesses is one of the most important things. And when you're playing, you might not understand what you're doing on the field at times, and when they're watching you on television, or when they're watching you, they might pick up a thing or two, which can help you in future.
So if you had to give an advice to, say, a preteen who's looking to make it big in cricket, the couple of things that I kind of picked up on was, when you started cricket, there were not a lot of things that you could take for granted.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that you emphasized on was the importance of the coach-athlete relationship.
Yeah.
What would your advice to kids today be?
I think they need to be patient, as simple as that. I would say that, because they kind of try and get restless if things don't fall in place, and they try and do different things, which is not the right way to go forward. I think you got to keep at it all the time, and keep working hard, because the results probably will not show as quickly as you want it to be shown. Obviously it'll take time. So you have to be in it all the time and making sure that you are doing all you can, and then rest is up to the fate. And if you're honest, disciplined, you will get the result. I've seen a lot of kids these days back in the country, in Mumbai especially. They tend to just drift away, if they don't get results. So I think that's not the right way to go forward. I think if you want results, you have to be in it all the time and make sure that you stay patient and keep doing the work that is required, because this is international cricket you're talking about, and you're talking about competing with the best in the world. So you have to do all the groundwork to be the best in the world. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in 1 or 2 days, or it doesn't happen in 1 year. You have to work really, really hard and keep striving towards it. If the hard work is constant, results will follow.
What do you think the effect of IPL is on youngsters who probably have a lot more access to opportunities today, and along with it also the commercial model that comes with it? Do you think that is going to change the attitude for youngsters?
Yeah, in India everybody wants to play IPL, but that's, IPL will happen. It's probably reached at the stage where nobody expected it to reach. We're talking at the global level now, talking about IPL is obviously compared to leagues like NFL, English Premier League, so it's very high standards now. And when you're playing in IPL, you have to be at your best. And to get into IPL, it is, basically you have to come through the grassroots level. First, perform for your state, then your zones back in India. And then, you will have your opportunity. If you're talented, if you have ability, you will get picked up. And it's now when I made my mark into the international team, there was no IPL then. So we had to go through all the levels. But now there is a certain advantage since IPL has come in. If you get into IPL and perform well, your performance get highlighted, and you get your selection straight away in the national team. So I think in a way, IPL has opened up a lot of doors for a lot of the kids, people who want to make comeback into the squad, and it has given so many opportunities, not just to Indians, but also people from outside as well. So many people from different countries come and play in IPL. So it is a big opportunity for them also, and it is only going to get bigger and bigger as we head into a few more years. And as you saw this year as well, it was very challenging. Till the last game, we never knew who was going to qualify. So that is the challenge of IPL. So if anybody wants to be part of IPL, you really have to work your way into it.
So you came up the hard way, made your debut at the age of 20 in 2007, walking into that Indian team. What was it like? It
was a dream come true, actually, to be playing with guys like Sachin, Saurav Ganguly, Rahul Dravid, and all these guys, which I only watched them on television when I was growing up, and when I pursue to play cricket, I only watched them on TV, and just to share the dressing room with them was completely a different vibe. I was shaken when I first entered the dressing room, when I saw, I met Mr. Tendulkar a few times before, because he was part of Mumbai Ranji team, and he came to watch few games, and he came to practice as well for a few days with us. But the others, I hadn't had opportunity to meet them or talk to them about the game, but that was the time I got to see everyone together. And yeah, the first few weeks, in fact, I was just watching them, what they were doing, not focusing on my batting, which is not ideal. But that is the kind of personality these guys have had, on Indian cricket. So not just me, but anyone who comes into that dressing room, has been taken aback. I was no different, and yeah, it was a great feeling. You know, it was. I always wanted to be part of that team, and when that day arrived, I was like over the moon and was very, very happy.
The big four, the big five. I mean, out of those, if you had to pick one, who you'd say probably had the most influence on yours, closest to you, who would that be?
Yeah, I would say Sachin, because he's from Mumbai, and I've had a lot of opportunities to talk to him, and played for Mumbai Indians as well many a times. So I think I've had good relationship with him over the years, and I wouldn't say I've not had good relationship with Rahul Dravid or Saurav Ganguly or VVS Lakshman, you know, or Virender Sehwag. You know, all these guys, I've played with them, and I've managed to talk to them whenever we played in the team together. But with Sachin, it was different because we used to practice at the same ground in Mumbai. So I had a lot of interaction with him compared to the others. So I would say him, because only because of many more interaction compared to the others. And I've got a lot of advices from the other guys as well. But Sachin being from Mumbai and playing in the same team as me, I had opportunities to talk to him a lot more.
So early on in your international career, the VB series, the Tri-Series finals was a big turning point. What was it like playing that knock with Sachin? I mean, what was, if you were to pick a few moments from those finals that you think kind of totally transformed your career?
Yeah, I mean, playing against Australia in Australia is the biggest challenge that you will face, because those guys are very intimidating. And when you see someone like Andrew Symonds standing at covers, coming at you all the time, it is intimidating, you know. And they never like losing. So I was 20 years old, and it was a first big series for me, and I was quite nervous, to be honest, you know. And just to be part of the team, a lot more has happened before I arrived into that country, when the test series was going on, the whole monkey gate with Symonds and Pudgy. So there was a lot of controversy that happened before, and for us, we had all the more reason to prove that we are the better team than them, and we are playing not in our home conditions, we are playing away. So we had to beat them no matter what. And we were playing quite well in the test series, but ODI series was always going to be challenging. We knew that, and they were one of the best ODI side at that point. They had just won the World Cup in 2007. So everything was going in their favors. They had all the players playing at their peak level. You know, so they had probably the strongest Australian team at that point. And on the other side, us, we had a lot of youngsters coming into that team. Saurav Ganguly was not part of that team. Rahul Dravid was not part of the team. Lakshman wasn't part of the team. Virender Sehwag had injury problems. So a lot of new guys came into the side, and I was one of them. So it was a challenge for us to be competing against that Australian team. But we showed a lot of character. You know, before the finals, I still remember Ricky Ponting said, we don't need 3 finals. We need only 2, because we're going to beat Indians in these 2 finals. So there is no need of 3rd final. But it was completely opposite. We went to win the 2 finals. So there was no 3rd final. But, you know, so it was completely reversed. Right. Yeah. And talking about that Sydney knock, it was first final, important game, and we had lost few wickets, you know, and Sachin was batting, and he and I built a partnership of 100 plus, which ended up into a match-winning partnership. We won the game, and Sachin scored first ever 100 in Australia. That was his first ever ODI 100 in Australia. So I was part of that 100, I can say that. And yes, and the second final again he got 90 plus. You know, throughout the series he didn't score runs. come the important game, he scored 190 and won us the tournament.
Unbelievable. That truly was a special moment for Indian cricket. And then came the T20 World Cup. Being a part of the first T20 World Cup win and the way we won it against Pakistan, were there some key points in the tournament and or in the finals that you would say it kind of completely turned it in India's favor?
Yeah, I think again it was all youngsters playing that tournament. We had only few senior players playing with us, so everybody wrote us off saying that this team cannot qualify and cannot win the championship. And we also went in there thinking that we are underdogs and we don't have much expectations. So we were allowed to play fearless cricket. We just went and took the pressure and took the teams on, without thinking twice as to what we need to do as a team. We just went with a fearless mindset, put the team under pressure when it was required, and both the games that we played against Pakistan was quite an interesting game, because the first one we played in the league game, that was a bowl out, the first ever bowl out which happened, and we beat them through the bowl out, and of course the final was such an important final. We were playing in South Africa, but it never felt like South Africa. It felt like either India or Pakistan, because there were only Indians and Pakistanis in the stadiums. So the whole stadium was filled with Indians and Pakistanis. You could only see Pakistan and India flag, obviously because of the two teams playing, but we never felt like we were in South Africa. And yeah, the only thing I remember from that game is Srishant's catch, the last catch. As soon as the ball went up, I turned the other side. I was not looking at him because nobody were confident that he's going to take the catch. But he took the catch, which was quite a game changer for all of us. Because I'll tell you why. Because the previous over, he had he went for a lot of runs and he was not looking confident. He was just thinking about his bowling, which is not ideal. When you finish your over, you have to focus on the job at hand. But he was lost in his own world and he was thinking about something else, I don't know what. Which is why Dhoni put him at short fine leg, because hardly ball goes there. Short fine leg is somewhere your team's best fielder don't stand. So he was standing there and I was standing at covers. And as soon as the ball went up, I just turned towards the opposite direction. I didn't want to watch that catch. But now, as soon as he took the catch, crowd started going gaga over everything. So only then I realized that we won the game. And we started running towards everyone.
So for such an important game, what goes on in your mind preparing for a game like that? How do you prepare for a high-octane final like that?
At that stage, I had no preparation because I was only 20-year-old and I wanted to do what I did in my early days, as to keep my mind absolutely blank and just go and play my game without even thinking that it's a final and you have to change your game. And that can add pressure to yourself. I think when you think about the occasion, when you think about the opposition, your game, there is a chances that you can change your game, and it has happened in the past for a lot of players. So for me, it was important that how I played my game before coming into the team, coming into the World Cup, I had to just go and do that, which is like just understanding the situation and playing to the merit of the ball. That's all I thought of, and that's what I did. If I would have thought about the occasion, it's a final, it's the first ever World Cup or T20 World Cup final, playing against the Pakistan. It would have changed my game, definitely. I would have thought about so many things. It was better for me that, I went in without thinking anything and I just did the job. And I think I got 30 runs of 15 balls in the end.
That's great. That's quite a strike rate that anyone will be proud of today. That brings us to Dhoni's captaincy. You've been pretty open in crediting him for what it's done to your career. How did that come about with Dhoni? How did that relationship, how did he in terms of reading what the right position would have been? Was that a conversation, or is this just something that happened as a team strategy over a period of time?
I mean, MS Dhoni is more captain, players captain, you know, and I think it's very important that you have that quality because if you're a captain, you're at the helm of everything, and you are you've been expected to take decisions, tough decisions, and you're at the spotlight all the time. So, and there are chances that you can make a difference, you know, into someone's career as well. So for him at that point, it was important that he recognized few players and he went all out to back them. I was one of them where he said, okay, whatever happens, I need this guy because I see something special in him. And that is the kind of quality that he has, and he backed those guys. There were a few other cricketers as well who he completely backed them. And it's a different question if the guy does well or not. But to be able to come out and back the players and show that confidence in that player, it says a lot. And the players also feel that, okay, my captain is backing me, he's with me. I just need to prove him. I just need to prove myself to prove him that he's made a good decision, you know. So I think it is important, and that's what I'm trying to do right now with my Mumbai Indians team. You know, it is important that you show faith in your player and back him completely, no matter what the situation is or what happens on the field. It is important to do that. And he's very instinctive on the field. You know, the decisions that he takes is based on what has happened in the previous over or what is going to happen in the next over. You have to, as a captain, you have to think on all sides and make a decision. You can sometimes go wrong, right, but you have to back yourself to do that. Whatever decision you make, you have to back yourself. Like I said, it can not always be the right decision, but whatever decision you try and make at that point is in the best interest of the team. So everyone understands that. I guess people outside don't understand because they have different perception, but that's okay. You know, but people inside the field, you know, they exactly know why this decision was made, why, you know, so-and-so player was sent ahead of me or sent ahead of someone else, you know, or the bowling changes. Why was I not given to bowl in the power play, for example, and why was I held back to bowl in the later stage of the game? All those things happens on the field, and you have to be aware of all those things, and you have to back those decisions. And the players are there to back you, and you know, everyone knows, like I said, everyone knows that you are making the decision in the best interest of the team.
Within the Mumbai Indians team, now that you're captain of MI, do you see that same kind of promise in some of the youngsters that Dhoni saw in you, and that you would say, I'd go completely back that guy?
Absolutely. There are a few guys, you know, I see a lot of talent. More than the talent, I see, you know, the excitement of playing the game, because for me that is more important. If you're enjoying the game, you know, then you will succeed. And it is important because you have limited period of time when you're playing cricket. It's not all your life you can play cricket. So whatever limited period of time that you have to enjoy. And that's what I keep telling everyone, whoever I meet. The first thing I say is enjoy the game. That's the most important thing. Because this is something that you have loved. It's your passion. So why not enjoy it? Enjoy every bit of it, and then leave the results or you know, the outcome of the game. You know, it will take care of itself. If you do the right things, it will take care. You know, so I think that's what I keep telling on my players. And I do see a few guys who enjoy their game and they have a lot of potential to, you know, become good cricketers and successful cricketers in future. So hopefully in this coming years it will define them as a cricketer, because now that they've played few seasons, people are trying to you know, spot them. People are trying to talk about their cricket and all that. So I think in the next few years, hopefully, you will see them coming up through the ranks.
You've been a player for Mumbai Indians, and now for the last 6 seasons been the captain. The first 5 seasons, Mumbai hadn't won the IPL. They were close, they were on the cusp, but not won it. What was that, the magical formula, or whatever it was, that clicked, wherein in the next 5 seasons, Mumbai won 3 titles? And it, not completely incidental that you were captain for those 5 seasons.
Yeah. I think I don't want to take any credit because obviously without the players it's not possible. But as a captain, the only thing I did was I brought the team together most of the times, because that is the biggest challenge of IPL. Because people come from different countries, different cultures, so at times it can get difficult to play as a team. If you're not playing as a team, you might not get the result on the field, more often than not. So I think it is important to play as a team. Playing as a team means nothing but taking up the responsibility at the right time, putting the hand up and saying that this is I'm going to do the job for the team. And it's not about one individual all the time. It's about 5-6 guys coming together and doing the job. Because yes, I understand there are 6 batters in the squad who play, but not all 6 batters can score runs. Only 2 or 3 maybe can get those runs. So obviously the 3 guys who are in the squad, they will fail. So it doesn't mean that the next game, obviously is an opportunity for them to come and take the responsibility. And that's how it goes. It's the same with the bowlers as well. One guy might have an off day and he will go for runs. It's the responsibility of the other guy to say, okay, I'm the one who's going to do the job today. He's not the one who's going to do the job every day, but it's my day today. So I think for me, this was the biggest challenge, and to bring everyone together and to think, alike. It was important that we all moved in one direction, and the thought process of all of us were on the same page. We were thinking similarly about how we wanted to go and win the championship, and we brought everyone together, which was, I think, ideal for me, and as well as a big challenge for me.
It's not easy dealing with all the personalities, as you mentioned, and then probably in the first 2-3 seasons, you had to deal with all the different players who were still there, and there were probably 3 or 4 player coaches. So there's a lot of action in the dugout. How do you get over that phase in terms of and making it your dressing room?
Yeah, I see. There will be a lot of support staff around the squad, and they're there only to help you all to make the right decision, to understand the situation better. But especially for the newcomers, new guys who are part of the squad, they need some guidance as well, and not senior players cannot do that all the time. So you need coaches around as well to guide them. But once you enter the field, it's your field. Nobody can enter the field. I'm talking about the support staff. Once you enter the field, it is your decision, it is your move, it is your field. So, you have to make those decisions, whether I should play that shot or not, whether I should bowl that bouncer or not. It is your decision. Captain is also not going to say anything because he's not with you all the time. So when you have the job at hand, whether it's with the ball or with the bat, you are the right person, you are the right judge at that point, and you have to back yourself to do it. You will fail at times, but with failure comes the understanding, learning. I feel if you don't fall, you won't rise. So I think it is important to do that and move forward. And moving forward is only you can move forward by only making sure that you make those right decisions and learn from the mistakes that you have made in the past.
Switching a little bit, as a person, I think just over the events that we've done over the last few days, I think everyone who's interacted with you has been touched by just the genuinity of the interaction. It's like everything that you speak just truly comes from the heart. And what do you attribute that to you in your background? And I've seen you be one of the most grounded individuals. What do you attribute that to?
It's just the upbringing, my dad obviously is a very simple and honest man, and it comes from that. My family, we come from a very humble background, and not a lot of things that I'm seeing now. I expected that to happen, So I think it is got to do a lot more how my parents brought me up, and they always told me, no matter where you go, do not forget where you have come from. So I think that is the most important thing that keeps me grounded all the time.
So just one last question before we open it up for the audience interaction. So you've been part of the initiative with KP in terms of the rhino protection.
Yeah.
So what was the origin for your devotion to that cause? Where did that start?
I think it all started with my wife driving me, or making me aware of things that happens around us. And I can understand, not everybody grows up knowing about what happens outside your house is not your responsibility. It is your responsibility. So how we deal with it is on us. And the more I traveled, the more I met people, I got to know more about what happens to these animals. And it's the only reason, because they can't speak for themselves. So we have to stand for them, and speak about how we shouldn't harm them, and let them live their life. It is important that everybody understands that. And I've noticed back home in India, a lot of people now are aware of things around, when it comes to animals, how they treat their dogs, how the stray dogs have been treated back home. So I get a lot of messages on social platforms. So I go through it and I see that people are trying to make difference now. And it's not just about me; it's about all of us coming together and living up to this expectation.
Just one other wrap up. What do you expect as the biggest outcome of this tour, and what's your hope for where you want to see US cricket go?
Oh, I definitely want cricket to come here in this part of the world and do as it is doing in India or any other cricketing nation. I remember coming here in 2016 in Florida, and when we played against West Indies, 2 T20 games. In future, we'll see more and more international games happening here, especially Indian team coming here and playing those tournaments. But for me, it's always nice to meet so many people and talk about how cricket has gone to the next level, and we want cricket to be a global sport in each part of the world. We want cricket to be part of that, part of their life. So yeah, I think it's good that I have an opportunity to speak for it, and you'll see many more cricketers doing that wherever they go, because we want to make cricket a global sport for sure.
We all look forward to that, Rohit, and we're thankful that you're here to kind of be one of the pioneers for that.
Thank you.
Thanks for that. With that, I'll open it up to some audience questions.
Growing up, did you play different sports? And if you did, would you recommend that for kids now to play different sports or focus on a single sport? Or how does, what do you think? What do you get out of it?
I think when I grew up, I played only one sport, was only cricket, because all the people around me, all my friends, they only loved playing cricket. But I would encourage kids to play whatever sport they like to play and not take up as a profession. As kids, you just want to enjoy playing a sport. It shouldn't be a burden thinking that he has to make it far or he has to make it to the national level or things like that. As kids, they should just enjoy the sport, whichever sport they play. And I wouldn't say just one sport because, they shouldn't be restricted at this point. So I think they should just play whatever sport they like and how much ever sports they like to play.
Hey Rohit.
Hi.
Both my son and I are big fans of yours. Actually, when I mentioned to him that you're going to be coming here and if he wanted to come and hear you talk, he compared it to a kid in India going to listen to Buster Posey, who's one of the
Sorry,
top,
I didn't.
Buster Posey, who's one of the top baseball players over here.
Oh, okay.
So he was comparing you to him. So he's a big,
Thank you so
big
much.
fan. I know Ram talked to you a little bit about your state of mind when you're playing. I had a question about the 264 that you had scored. What was your state of mind when you were scoring that? Were you thinking about going past the 200, the 250?
No, honestly, I was very nervous before that game. I had a 3-month layoff due to injury on my finger. And that was the first game I played after 3 months because I was injured. And the first, I don't know if you saw that game. If you see that game, I was 9 runs of first 30, 35 balls because I was nervous. I was not getting enough power through my fingers to play the shots because it was hurting. And I was thinking twice in my head whether I can play that shot or not. Certain shots that I want to play on the field, I was thinking about it, whether I can play that shots or not. But then I took my time because, to shred off that nervousness, I wanted to take some time, and which is why I got my 50 of 75 balls. And then as soon as I was approaching towards 100, when I got my 100, I said, okay, I can bat. And why can't I bat another 10 overs and see where the team score goes? Because for me, it was important to see the team score. And that game was important for us to win because we would have sealed the series if we won that game. So I was only thinking about the team's score at that point. And then once I crossed 100, thinking about the team score, I just kept batting. And when I reached closer to 200, that's when I realized I'm closer to 200. And I can score another 200 because I scored one before in the previous year. So I said, okay, I can score it. And I never thought I could score 250. To be honest, I never thought of it. It was only 4 overs left and I was batting on 200. So to get 64 runs in 4 overs was unimaginable at that point. And only you can only score that many runs if your partner is scoring as well with you. So there were a lot of things going in my head, and I hit only 9 sixes in that game. The previous 200 was 16 sixes. And this, I scored a lot of boundaries because I was not getting that power in my hand. And the funny thing is, when I got 264, I got out the last ball of the game. And I went into the dressing room. Duncan Fletcher was our coach. He said, mate, you could have gotten 300 if you wouldn't have played slow at the start. I was shocked to hear that because the guy has just scored 264 and he's come in and the coach is asking you to score that you would have scored 300. So that is the kind of expectations, back home in India. 200 is not enough. Now people are asking, when would you score 300? So expectation is a good thing, but we have to manage that expectations as well. Hopefully.
Talking of expectations, Rohit, you've really made it hard for all of us. I mean, gifting your wife on her wedding anniversary with a third double 100, and then for the birthday scoring the fastest T20 100. And here we were getting Apple Watches and everything, right? So it's like, you're up the game. Up the game.
Hey Rohit, honestly I was thinking the same then about you, just like Duncan Fletcher. If you had started fast, you could have get the 300.
But I would have gotten out if I was playing fast. I told you why I was playing slow, because my finger were not supporting me. It was hurting a lot when I was trying to play the shot, because it was my middle finger from where you extract power, and that was hurt. So I was not able to manage the power so well. So I had to take time. If I wouldn't have taken time, I wouldn't have even scored 264 then.
Yep. Great. So what's the significance of your favorite number 45 in your T-shirt? I see Ritika also have in her phone.
Yeah, actually my mom gave me that number during the Under-19 World Cup. I was playing with the number 19 before, but she called me and she saw it on the TV and she said, "This is not your number. Don't use that number. Use 45." So I think after she saw number 19, she went to Pandit ji back home. She must have asked, she must have gotten all the stars and everything together. She must have spoken to him, and that's how I got to know that this is the number that I should be using. And since then, it has never changed.
Yeah, my son Ishan, he's your favorite. His favorite cricketer is you. So he has a couple of questions.
So my question was, what's your favorite format out of T20, ODI, and Test cricket?
It's very no cricketer will pick one format, because for them cricket is the most important format, whether it's a T20 format or a Test format or ODI format. I like all three formats because at the end of the day I want to play cricket, whether it's for the nation or for my club, state, wherever it is, I want to play cricket. And for me, all three formats are equally important.
And also, I had another question. What's your favorite ground out of all the grounds to play?
Favorite ground?
Yeah.
Favorite ground is Wankhede and Eden Gardens.
He guessed Wankhede and I guess Eden Garden.
No, Eden Garden also, because I've done a lot of memories at Eden Gardens. My first IPL captaincy came at Eden Gardens. My first IPL trophy came at Eden Gardens. 264 came at Eden Gardens. My first class debut for Mumbai came at Eden Gardens. And my first IPL 100 is at Eden Gardens. My second IPL trophy is at Eden Gardens. What else? My test debut is at Eden Gardens. My first test 100 is at Eden Gardens.
Wow.
Mumbai, Wankhede will always be my favorite because that's where I grew up, just like you, playing cricket there. So that will be my favorite.
Thank you, Rohit.
Thank you.
Hey Rohit, welcome to Silicon Valley. We're very excited to have you here.
Thank you.
Quick thing, when we watch on TV now with Captain Kohli coming in with his aggressive attitude, and then we have you pretty calm and composed, very nice, whenever you are on the field, you're pretty calm. And then we have Captain Cool behind the stumps. So when you guys are taking some important decisions, how you weigh and take the decisions, like whether Captain Cool is coming in or Kohli is coming in, and then your advice. So we see on the TV that three of you do talk, and sometimes you get woovy also in the middle. So what's the approach there?
I mean, see, end of the day, it's the captain's decision. When you're aggressive, when you're completely heated up, you need Captain Cool and Captain Calm to come together and cool him down. So that's what we do at times, But the decision obviously lies with the captain. The last decision is always with the captain. We are always there to help if he needs any help. Because I have seen it myself when I am captaining Mumbai. Of course, you need advice from your players, from your mates around you, just to make sure that everything is going in the right direction. You cannot, of course, you can take the complete control of the team, but it's always nice to have some help around and just to make sure that the team is moving in the right direction. But in the Indian team as well, it's the same. Like Kohli makes all the decisions, obviously, because he's the captain. But if he's confused, if he feels that he needs help, he'll always, ask for help. And we are always there to help.
Good afternoon, Rohit. This is Dinesh. Welcome here. You've been called modest. I would call you Mr. Modest instead of Mr. Cool. I think that shows up, and I admire you. I think your 264 is like by far the highest point I think you could have reached. So I have a question for you. It's really a great honor that you will be pitching pitching the first ball at the Mariners game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Would that off spinner in you come in and say that maybe I should put a spin on the ball?
I'm going to try the knuckle ball. Just try and deceive the striker. But no, I think I'm going a little early there just to make sure that I'm doing it right, because I don't want to hurt the player. So it will be important for me to just practice few throws before I do the actual throw.
And that was my question, is like in baseball, there is a lot of similarities between baseball and cricket. And one of the things about baseball is that every ball is a full toss.
Yes.
So when you throw tomorrow, the off spinner in you would rather not put a full toss.
No, I have to follow the rules. I have to follow the rules. I can't pitch it on the ground.
Right. So I've just got one request. When I came to this country a long time back, right out of college, I won't say when because that would give away my age, but let's say that was a time when America only elected white presidents. So I've got a request. I've been carrying a bat myself. Fortunately, they allowed me to bring it inside.
Yeah.
I'd be extremely honored if you would autograph that for me.
Of course.
Today, please.
Of course.
So my question is, when you were younger, after you came home from school and everything and you played with your friends, how long would you play for and what was your position?
Thank you. I would play for hours, yes. It is important to do that because I clearly can see that your dad is not happy with your playing hours. But yeah, okay.
He's at majors and he pitches as well.
Oh, okay, nice.
So I'm good with him playing as long as rates don't drop.
No, you have to give enough time to your education as well. That's where I think your dad has a problem. But of course, you have to manage it. The time you have to manage with your studies, spending time with your family, spending time playing with your friends. All those things are very important. And when I was growing up, I didn't do that pretty well because I was all over the place. Only because my practice timings were like that, and we used to travel like literally 2 hours to get to the ground and come back home. So when I was probably, I think 14 years old, I mean, my focus from studies completely diverted to cricket because my cricket was getting really, really hectic, and it required a lot of time, preparation and everything. But I managed it pretty well after that. So I think I'll tell you the same thing. But I think for you, 2 to 3 hours is enough. You can do that.
And what was your position when you played?
My position? When I started, I was a bowler, so I used to bat at number 8. After where MS Dhoni bats at 6-7, I used to bat 8. But then when I joined my school, they asked me to open the batting, and then I started opening the batting, and then when I played for Mumbai, batted at 4. So I batted all over actually.
Rohit, whether it's IPL or even international games, right? So we expect a lineup to stay unchanged for the next game, and we hear like someone pulled out because they injured themselves during practice.
Yeah.
And most of the time we hear that they injured themselves playing soccer or something that's not cricket. So is that because that's becoming more and more common even in this IPL, right? Is that because you guys take the practice like not as seriously as you're playing a game, or you don't protect yourself that much, or?
No, absolutely not. It's like we all love soccer back home when we come, and that's a great warm-up sport that we can play, because before getting into our training session, it is important to warm up really, really well. And I think to warm up, you have to run a lot, and soccer is all about running. So I think that is probably the reason we play soccer as a warm-up game, and it is not 90 minutes. It's only for literally 10 to 15 minutes we play, just to get ourselves going, just get the body moving, But yeah, I mean, our trainers and physios, they get worried when we play soccer. Obviously, for that reason, because a lot of players have been injured because we wear that spikes shoes which can hurt while you're tackling and you're playing, or when you're trying to kick the ball. But we all are aware of it. We all are professional cricketers. We need to know how to manage, how to be careful on the field while playing the sport. But it's just for fun, and it's a great sport to play. It keeps you active, gets you in your training session right away when you play that game.
Two more questions lined up here, and after that, in the interest of time, we'll move to the meeting green.
Hey Rohit, thanks a lot for spending the time with us. A lot of sports people and a lot of cricketers have their favorite superstitions, right? Whether they've got a favorite piece of cloth in them, or like they wear the pads one way or the other. So do you have any of the superstitions that you actually go through, or any regimen that you go through as you are actually walking out or in the dressing room?
I do have it, but it's very embarrassing. It's if I've done well, I tend to use the same clothing next day as well, without washing it. Because there's a lot of luck factor which is there, so I want to use the same thing for the next day as well. Exactly, like I cannot use it obviously for 5 days, but if I'm batting overnight, or if I'm batting let's say overnight 20 not out or 30 not out, I'll wear the same stuff next day as well.
Well, I think last question. We'll keep looking out for that. How far we can keep a reach from you. We'll gauge if you're wearing the same clothes or not. But thanks a lot, first of all, for today. I think what you gave to the kids at the academy, California Cricket Academy, was just unbelievable. The humbleness. I mean, you were in there. I felt like, oh, you should just stay as a coach here for long. You have a great career as a coach, for sure. One thing I wanted to ask is, all this different format, I know one of the kids touched to it. How easy are those transitions, from T20 to one day to test match? Sometimes it's back to back. And how do you prepare for those things? You don't even have time to practice sometimes. Just,
I think
2-3 days.
Initially, when the transition was happening, it was quite tough. But since India is the only country who plays so much cricket throughout the year, so we guys are used to it now. Playing T20 and then Test match, and then suddenly shift to ODI cricket. Because we have back-to-back fixtures. I was just told, I met Mike Hesson, New Zealand team's cricket coach, on the flight from Bombay to Dubai, which was my connecting flight from Dubai to San Francisco. So he told me New Zealand is now going to play only in October. So they played their last international, their last assignment was just before IPL, I think March. So you can imagine they literally have 5 to 6 months break. For them, it's probably tougher for them because they have break and they need to get back into it. For us, this is the only time. I have only 20 days now, and I'm trying to make the most of my 20 days. Coming and speaking to the kids, going to the Mariners game. So that's how life is, and I enjoy it. I don't have any complaints about it, because like I said in my interview now, there's limited period of time that you have as a cricketer, and you got to make the most of it. So I think for us it is initially it was very challenging to manage all three formats because suddenly from the test cricket where you are focused more on your technique, playing tight cricket, suddenly to go to T20 format where everything changes and it is an opposite game completely, where you have to slog every ball, go for runs all the time, and it's always fast. T20 cricket is so fast. So initially it was tough, but now we guys, all of us are used to it, and I have trained my mind like that, to manage those challenges, because now whatever the schedules are, we can't change it. So you have to train your mind like that. Okay, boss, you have a test match now, and then after that it is T20. You have to change your gears, focus, and change your thinking about the game. So all those things started way back. I think it was the transition happened way back in 2011 when all three formats came together and we started playing more and more of T20 cricket also. And 2008 was where IPL started. So that 2 months we literally play T20 cricket, and then more often than not, after IPL we always go to England and play test cricket. So it's always been tough like that, but we guys are used to it. We guys have managed it really well, and I don't see that as a problem, especially when it comes to India.
So Rohit, I think the conversation would be incomplete without asking you about the influence that Ritika has had in your success. I know she plays a big role. Whoever has been close to it knows it. You want to talk about it?
You want to answer? Say something? No, I think she's been a great influencer in my life, because it is important for your partner to understand what you're doing on your day-to-day life, and she completely understands that and allows me to do what I want to do, whether it's going on a trip or whether it's being on the tour, and making sure that I am in the right space. And she's always been there, even before we get married. Also, before we got married, she was always there watching, and that's how that is how the connection between me and her happened. And it's not that she loved the sport. She had no idea about what cricket was before. When she met, only after she met me, she understood what cricket is. So yeah, I think it is important to have that space from your partner, when you're playing, because it's such a high-profile tournament, high-profile sport that you're playing. So it is important that your partner allows you to do what you want on day-to-day basis, and I think she does that with me. And once I stop playing, it will be my duty to allow whatever she wants to do. So we have to. Everything goes hand in hand, right? So I think I think she's just waiting for me to finish, which will be a little longer.
Yeah, that's it. You're far from finished. She's just getting started, Rohit.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. And thanks, everyone. So we'll open it up for just a gentle meet and greet and have the photo op. So leave it open. Thank you.